Ah, yes, hello everyone, and welcome and good morning if you were just waking up and seeing this. Well, the Gobophile, he showed up on Marty's Rumble stream with Thump, Taylor's baby daddy, and well, they had a little exchange. It was Cyraxx insulting Thump, trying to be the winner, trying to come out on top as usual, but always failing. Talking about how Thump is, putting his hands on Taylor and that, he's going to bring the wrath of the law down on Thump and this and that, and getting a little rageful, but going back and forth, asking the same question. Cyraxx just keeps asking the same damn question over and over again. What makes you think you have the right to lay hands? And then meanwhile, Cyraxx is reminded, well, didn't you lay hands on Sally? Oh, I got counseling for that. Yeah, well, sorry, bullshit. And then didn't you lay your hands on Heather? That never happened. That never happened. Literally, now it's never happened. Now Cyraxx is just saying it's never happened. He says that about a lot of things he has done. A little bit more insulting went on, and then, well, Thump had way better insults because the insults that he was using were true. What's this about Blind Billy? What's this about William Glory Hole? What's this about you masturbating to a man? What's this about you cheating on Taylor? And, all those questions Cyraxx had an excuse for, but none of them made any sense. And Thump said, I don't want to hear excuses. They had a little one-on-one exchange where he tried to have Marty leave Cyraxx, and it was just Cyraxx and Thump. Well, they were going back and forth, and it was mostly Cyraxx talking, of course, and it was about how he's going to explain to Thump how he's a great person, how he's a good man. And Thump wants to know exactly how Cyraxx is going to provide for Thump's children, not Cyraxx's children. And then Marty, would break in with a video of William Glory Hole or with a comment, or Berto would come in, and then Cyraxx would demand that that person or that video be taken off. And then Cyraxx would blame the trolls, more excuses, reasons why he isn't successful, talking about how he's went to Burger King and applied, how bullshit. You've never went to any job to fill out an application. Never. You've never done that. You've sat in that room for years, and you're just hoping that this racing rig, he actually told him that this racing rig is going to help him provide for the children, because people are not going to watch him with the old racing rig because it's just not a good racing rig anymore. I kid you not. This is what he's saying. He said, give me a year with that new racing rig. I'll pull in numbers like you won't believe. So Thump's trying to talk sense to him. It's not about the racing rig. I mean, people don't care about the new rig. I mean, let's be real here. It is about how good you are at the game. If you're not good at the game, then people are not going to want to watch you, unless you are Cyraxx. And then when you are shitty at a game, it's hilarious because of the excuses you make and when you rage and just really the way you look. I mean, when the camera is focused on you, Cyraxx, with that resting derp face that you have, it's just funny to watch. You have a face made for screenshots and hilarity. That's probably the only thing that, that's the only use you have, is to be ridiculed, laughed at, and punished because of the things you've done. And he tried to make excuses like, don't listen to the chat. I didn't do any of this. Listen to my side of the story. And his side of the story, he lied about Blind Billy to Thump, of course. He lied about the Kate stream, saying that he was tricked into sending pictures. How does someone trick you into sending pictures of your peen? How does someone trick you into pulling your pants down and sending a picture of your penis to someone you think is a 14-year-old? And you could sit there and lie to Thump and say that, you had the original text messages where, it's, Kate said she was of legal age and then switches it up. Cyraxx, we've seen the text messages. The text messages that you say burned up in your phone. We have the original text messages, Cyraxx. You knew exactly how old she was. And it was mentioned multiple times to you. And, see, if you were a human being and a moral person, you would have blocked that person as soon as they said they were 14. But you didn't. You kept talking to them. So that's a concern for people who have children. But you won't understand that. He brought up the thing about why were you jerking off to a man and when you're cheating on Taylor. And I felt bad about you cheating on Taylor. And he actually said, well, it's been a week, so he's changed. Unbelievable. And he thinks people believe this. And then Thump would bring up, what's wrong with your head? Is that going to infect my kids? What are those red dots? It was just Cyraxx losing, taking L's left and right, thinking he's winning because he would see. Cyraxx thinks if he talks over people, he's winning. But Cyraxx, when you talk over people with nonsense and hilarity and insults, it just shows that you're losing. You're scared. You're desperate, and you're trying to convince Thump to allow you to be around his children, but it's just not going to happen. And anytime Thump would bring up the fact that he wasn't going to allow Chance to get that racing rig, Chance would start playing nice. Now, meanwhile, Chance doesn't care about those boys. If he cared about those boys, he would want Taylor's money to go to those boys. But no, see, Cyraxx wants the racing rig because he can make a ton of money. Then he can I'll have the kids grow up on the one that I had, and then they'll be erasers. Like he actually thinks that he's going to make a ton of money and buy other racing rigs for the kids. And meanwhile, they're going to use his shitty old one. He's calling it shitty, yet he wants to give it to the kids, but he doesn't want to use it. He wants Taylor to spend a ton of money on him and buy a new rig for him. And meanwhile, he doesn't work. That's his job. She's going to go to work, and he's going to stay at home and play racing games. And meanwhile, he's going to have to watch kids. He can't brush his teeth. He can't take care of himself. You think he's going to be able to take care of children? Meanwhile, that is the update. He came on Marty's Rumble. I shared it to community posts. He went at Thump, but Thump definitely won that exchange just because he used logic. But Cyraxx just tried to talk over him the whole time, but it just showed how desperate and scared he is. The rig was brought up. Cyraxx tried to play nice. And then at the end, when Cyraxx left finally, he realized that Thump wasn't listening to his bullshit. But go give it a watch. It's definitely worth it. Enjoy your coffee. Ah, yes.